I hate how this thing... All right, we are back, and I am actually seeing some audio input, and I'm going to check on my secondary source to see if it's actually going there. Oh boy, here we go. And let's see. I'm going to double check here. And apparently... Okay, can you guys hear me in the chat? My chat is up and running, finally. All right. Hail, Lopter. Hail, Parrothead. Can you guys hear me? I have no way of knowing on my end. Because all I see are the bars. It's weird. OBS is weird because it doesn't give you any kind of feedback through your speakers, but it does give you feedback through the bar visuals. Fine. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Well, hail everybody. So, what have we... Okay, Lopter can hear me. Parrothead, I don't know if he's joking around, but he can't hear me. You pulling on me? You pulling on me right now? Let's see. Yeah, okay. All right, sorry for the delay, everybody. So, what I said before. Right now, me and another member of our writing crew over at Bounding Into Comics is attempting to get some reasoning out of Gail Simone. Long story short, there was an article written. Her name was involved. She accused us of not being good and faithful actors or players, and essentially said that with a broad brush that we couldn't dialogue with her in good faith. You know, that's a broad brush that she's painting there. And the last thing I want to be accused of is being someone who did not try to reason, to dialogue, to have a discussion. In all fairness, the article was giving her tweet. And there was implications that she had some very strong feelings about if everybody's... I assume everybody in the room is aware of what's happening with Comicsgate and Cecil getting canceled by Dynamite and that whole situation. So, Dynamite Comics just yesterday announced that they would not be working with Cecil, Dick and Comics, because because of, what was it they said? A polarizing cover. So they would cancel the campaign and cancel the cover, and working with Cecil. I don't know Cecil, but I do know people and are affiliated with people in Comicsgate. Um, just as much as I know people who are, part of that mainstream. And um, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I find extremely frustrating. If I follow, or if I dialogue, or if I talk to anybody who is mainstream, and people see me who are Comicsgate, uh, they're cool. Like, okay, yeah, you can talk to Gail Simone. You can talk to blase blah over there. But as soon as somebody from the mainstream sees anybody talking to Comicsgate or anybody of repute talking to people who are of, in their opinion, the hate group that is Comicsgate, that's what they say, automatic. Cancel that person. Destroy their life. Destroy their livelihood. Because of your association, because you even fucking talk to that person. Fuck that, and fuck everything that it wrote in on. I'm going to say that right now. If you support that kind of behavior where whoever I talk to or whoever somebody else decides to talk to decides to try to extend the olive branch, if you want to cancel that person because of their dialogue with whoever you perceive to be an evil, without any kind of background dialogue kind of discussion, if you want to cancel that person outright because of that, fuck you. Fuck you. And in the end, I said that any kind of disingenuousness, it's going to play out through the wallets. I've made a decision that the mainstream's done. The mainstream is absolutely done. I loved the X-Men for what they were. I loved what the history, the characterizations, everything that was going on with the mutants. And there's some artists and creators out there who still, they, like, for the most part, I don't think Hickman has said anything disparaging about anything that's been going on. He's been very neutral. Same with, Adam Kubert, who I've talked to and dialogued with. Same with Hickman. But for the most part, all of these creators, all of these creatives have been staunchly on a side of the aisle that I just can't stand for. I can't agree with anymore. So I'm going to vote with my wallet. And I said as much. That I would be voting, people would be voting with their wallets. The comic book industry is going to die, and it's going to die a horrible death. And the only ones that'll be left, the creatives that will be left, are the ones who broke away from it. And that's your Ethan Van Skyvers. That's for what it's worth, Sean Gordon Murphy with his Indiegogo campaign. That's Cecil. I mean, and there's going to be a movement away from the mainstream. A movement away from the mainstream comics. and I would hate to say that because I grew up with the X-Men. I grew up with a lot of the I grew up with a lot of the 2099 titles too. The Punisher 2099, Ghost Rider 2099, Spider-Man 2099, Thunderstrike, and the X-Men 2099, which was a freaking weird ass title, but it was still X-Men. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And you guys are all talking Monsters Legends over there. Okay, fine. Whatever. We're talking a lot Monsters Legends. Um yeah, Frostbite. I've got Frostbite hatching in my hatchery. It's going to take about 2 days. But back to the mutants. So apparently we are getting. Let's see if I can boomer my way through this. Yeah, I can't. Can't boomer my way through this, so we'll just have to do this. Yes. So bear with me while I get this going. No, not that one. So this is what they've been teasing me with, which will show up. Oh, shoot, no, not that one. Let's see. I am no good at this, thank you. Anyway, we got the written article over on boundingintocomics.com, and there it is for everybody to see. Disney releases the new look for the upcoming New Mutants. That's been delayed for forever. You get the Anya Joy Taylor Comic-Con panel. Will include Maisie Williams, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Heaton. Okay, so apparently they released this trailer, and it's going to have some cool stuff. And we've been waiting since 2018 for this thing to come out. Would you come finish the movie while he was making the stand? Josh Boone was asked by Entertainment Weekly, and he said, yes, I would like to finish the movie. Fantastic. He didn't even do any reshoots. So this movie is ready to go, apparently. And unfortunately, we don't know when that's going to happen. Now that some news has come out, dude, they just said that Tenet was going to get delayed. And they said that, Jesus, the freaking, what was it? They don't know if Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be out in August. That one's delayed as well. So, what I see is a big problem with this. Oh, let me go back here. What I see as a big problem with this is a larger problem with the industry altogether, which is they don't know what this landscape is going to look like at the end. Um, I know they're doing this big Comic Con at Home thing, and New Mutants is going to be a big feature during that whole bit. And at this point, it's hard to say whether it'll be financially viable for them to release it into theaters with everything that's going on with the thing that shall not be named because of the thing that shall not be named. Um so yeah, I'm kind of interested in seeing what they say at this panel at the Comic Con at Home thing. Um, I think they're just gonna release it. They're just gonna release it because they don't see any financial viability to them releasing it in the theaters. They're just gonna release it on streaming. Um, it's a gamble. It's 50-50 whether they're just gonna do it free on Disney Plus or they're going to do a VOD. Um, but yeah, that's a strange thing. I don't know what's going to happen with the New Mutants at this point, and it's hard to say what's going to happen with anything at this point. The I would love to say that. Gosh, we gotta talk about comic books. Comic books. The distribution model is done. Diamond dug their own graves by being their sole distribution, and that sole distribution just took a tank. Just after 2 weeks, gone. And it seems like this company was running at an absolute deficit because how do you do? How do you go 2 weeks and then you're gone? Um, but yeah, 2 weeks gone, and then on top of that, a problem with trying to get out Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a problem with let's see if I can access this here. Yeah, I do not know what's going to happen with the New Mutants. It's going to be a 50-50 thing, whether they're going to release it on VOD or they're going to release it. There we go. Or they're going to release it on just Disney Plus. Just stream it like they did Artemis Fowl. Because they saw Artemis Fowl as a loser in the box office. And, oh gosh, that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks because New Mutants didn't have a chance. It just kept getting kicked and kicked and kicked around, and eventually it was left in the gutter, and now it's being handed out for free because nobody wanted it. That kind of makes me cry a little bit. But yeah, that's the New Mutants. Yeah, release New Mutants into the wild. It doesn't want to be seen. just as bad as the Percy Jackson movie. So, by all accounts, the Artemis Fowl movie, when the advertisements came out for it, looked like complete garbage trash. Like, okay, this is Percy Jackson, but they decided not to put as much effort into it. And Percy Jackson was not anything to cry home about at all. At best, you could take your kid there and your kid might be a little impressed. But the Artemis Fowl was just less Artemis and more foul. On top of that, I only got through maybe like 10 minutes of the movie. I'm just like, I'm out. Sorry. But if they give that same treatment to the New Mutants, that means they value the New Mutants as highly as Artemis Fowl in terms of returnability at the box office. Yeah, I hate it. Yeah, whatever. Getting used to the dad jokes. So, yeah, no one universally panned. This movie sucked. I don't know what kind of money they were looking to make from the movie theaters. But they threw a bunch of CG in there. They had to pay the actors. They had to pay the set designers. Someone had to direct it. That's another paycheck. Part of me thinks that they made that movie just to burn through some money. Which, alright, you're burning through some money now. So you burned through money to make the movie, and you are burning through money to get the movie onto Disney Plus. Your money's gone. Which brings up an interesting discussion about what they're going to do with the New Mutants. Are they going... Because there's a 50-50, they're going to release it VOD, or they're going to release it on Disney Plus just for free. My question is, am I just putting that 50-50 out there? And are they just going to sit on it for another year? Will they sit on this movie for another year? And my supposition is... yeah. I don't know the books. I was open for it. I love the early work of its director. With all that, I was just garbage, not meant to be seen. Yeah. Oh. Let's do this. And here we go. You guys are the most consistent. So welcome to the wrenches. I didn't know I could do that. Fantastic. I learned something new. The other one I need to add is Toxic Man Flu, and he'll be a freaking moderator. That means everything will fly. Oh. All right, we'll just shoot the shit now. How are you in Monsters Legends? Monsters Legends. What am I? I am freaking. Oh. So yeah, Monsters Legends. I'm not even 30 yet. I am still 28. But yeah, that's dude, do you guys see the Screen Rant article? There's a Screen Rant article just trying to take the piss out of everything. And there's a lot of problems with freaking ever since Screen Rant. Let's talk about Screen Rant. Screen Rant. So Screen Rant, when the Snyder Cut came out, started denigrating fans, started lambasting them. And what had happened is, shut up, you're 83. You've been playing for 6 years. Of course you're 83. Anyway, so they started lambasting and insulting the fans who wanted the Snyder Cut. Screen Rant, and it was comicbook.com, and was it comicbook.com or Comic Book Resources? One of those. And another mainstream site. I'm not. Collider. Freaking. The other Drew Taylor. Not our Drew Taylor. The other Drew Taylor. So they started lambasting fans. Fans who wanted the Snyder Cut. And saying this was a bad precedent to give fans what they want. I'm sorry. You give fans what they want, they will give you money. And that money will sustain you through whatever shit you might be going through. That means AT&T provided a customer service. They gave the fans what they wanted. You continue to pander to a very vocal minority, but a minority nonetheless, who doesn't pay for your items. They want your items to reflect their values. They want your items to reflect their beliefs, but they will not pay for it. They just want their message out. And guess what? After all that pandering, after all of that virtue signaling, guess how much money you have from those people that you try to appease? Zero. And the fans that you've left behind, that you've insulted, that you have denigrated, that you have damaged through trying to insert some forced agenda, they've left. Their wallets are closed. Their patronage is welcome elsewhere. Yeah, AT&T acts like a business, and that pisses them off to no end. And no one will, mark my words, Screen Rant, Collider, Comic Book Resource, none of those websites, Comic Book Resources did that fucking Captain America hit piece. None of those fucking websites will last throughout this thing. But I bet you money, Bounding into Comics will continue to exist. Shout out to my boys at Bounding into Comics. But, you know why? Because we still fucking write. We were writing shit when we were not getting paid for it. I'll say that, yeah. And even if we weren't, like, we do get paid for it. But even if we weren't getting paid, we would still write the shit we write. because we are passionate about our franchises, the things that we know, the history, the lore, our mythologies, as our modern mythologies, as reported by the author Stephen Walton. And we are fighting for it. We are fighting for those things that they forgot. And very simply, these guys who have bent the knee to these online harassers, online denigrators of. I'm more of a writer, so coming up with words on the fly is one of my weaknesses. But anybody who denigrates, demoralizes, paints with a broad brush everybody that is on a certain side of an aisle, because there's a commonality, there's a recognition. Yeah. Those guys will not last. I think Ethan Van Sciver said it best last night when he said, when you are on your knees, it is hard to stand back up. And the longer you're there, you may never stand ever again. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it. So, Gail Simone wants to have her stand and wants to die on that hill of whatever it is. Intersectional feminism, gender politics, pandering, representation. She wants to die on that hill. Fantastic. You will die on that hill with no money. Because that's no business. That's no business. You can have your beliefs. You can have your system of beliefs. You can have that kind of idea, but generally you don't tell fans to F off if they don't agree with you. I can tell you right now, everyone at Bounding Into Comics, we don't agree on everything. We do not agree on everything. 100%. I will tell you, I don't agree with like XYZ, whoever you want to, but we are all united in that thing that needs to be said, which is we know what's happening in the industry. We see these little well, they were little, but now they're more blatant moves in a direction to denigrate. So Screen Rant writes this article about James T. Kirk and how the previous James T. Kirk was passed up by by the younger Kirk, played by Chris Pine. And telling everybody that Pine, when he was Kirk, was already captain, promoted as captain, ensign to captain, faster. Because Pine, apparently at 26, became captain, and Shatner's Kirk became captain like 10 years later. Something like that. I don't know. But what Shatner did just took the piss out of him. Just said, you know what? Okay. But Pine would need to have a lot more screen time than I put in the character. Counted the movies. Counted the series. Counted the guest appearances in other movies. So, yeah. Pine has some work to do. 9 years of work to do. Yeah. Dude, I remember Pine more as the dude who rose up out of the lake and showed his wang in that one movie. What was it? Outlaw King. That's how I remember Pine, more than his appearance in Wonder Woman, more than his appearance in the Star Treks. Yeah. Leonard Nimoy. That guy. I will remember him as Spock more than I remember Siler? I even forgot the name of his villain in Heroes. And they only cast him because of his role in Heroes, because he was hot. Like a hot commodity. Not, I don't see him as a bellworthy individual. Pine is more bellworthy, in my opinion. Speaking of... But yeah. Identity politics, pandering to generatives. Now, for the record, there are going to be people within any kind of group who will espouse some tactics and some dialogues that are less than constructive. And that I do not at all condone. I do not condone that kind of activity. Any kind of harassment, any kind of... let's be clear on the legal definitions of harassment. Someone tells you to stop, you stop. Someone tells you to leave them alone, you leave them alone. If you continue to press and push and prod and verbally assault or verbally engage in a person after they have told you no, 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 then that's harassment. So let's be very clear on legal definitions of harassment. If somebody says something that you do not agree with, but you continue to engage with them, and for some reason, because you continue to engage with them and they continue to engage with you, but you're having words, you are having some very strong wording between you, and you say that that person who has had some very strong words with you, despite you continuing to engage in them, you say that that person was harassing you, that's not defined as harassment. That is defined as you are having dialogue with this person. So let's be very clear on legal definitions. You're not going to be able to go into a court and say that this is harassment, targeted harassment, because boom, right there. You said, what do you mean? Blah, 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 blah. You said this, that, and the other. Yeah, I don't remember his name either, Deviant Porg. I can't remember his name. He was in Heroes and he was in Star Trek. I don't know what else he does. But him taking on the role, the iconic role of Spock, it's like, and even the guy in the new Trek, Discovery? I don't know, but the guy that plays Spock in that one, I don't know. Who is he? None of these guys really define the role. Maybe Pine. But, no. We were supposed to be talking about mutants, but here we are talking about mainstream stuff and Star Trek. But yeah, this is a problem within the industry, and I think it needs to be corrected if we're going to move forward, which is you need to have dialogue. You need to talk it out. You need to have a peace branch extended. If you don't have it extended out, then nothing's going to get done. You're not going to get the answers you want. And guess what? The division that you say, I'm not saying that they don't want division. I'm pretty sure they want division. I'm pretty sure they want nothing to do with people who say they are Comicsgate or Comicsgate affiliated. I'm probably on a blacklist because I am affiliated, because I talk to, because I like some statuses. I, freaking follow some people. And I am friends with people who are Comicsgate. But here's the thing. Those people who are in Comicsgate blacklist me because I follow or like or talk to people on the other side of the fence. That's the thing. That's the double standard. That's where you find out who is actually the reasonable person in the conversation. And for the most part, the loud, annoying voices will die down. And the ride or die, the people that are true, those will be the ones that stand up. Those will be the ones who will open their wallets and give you their support. So I'm going to be making a decision of how I want to support and who I want to support. And if the mainstream comic book industry and people, and I'm going to paint with a broad brush, which I don't like doing. Like, I was covering a little bit of the Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse stuff. And it got to Cindy Moon. Cindy Moon, a lot of her story is written by Dan Slott. Dan Slott freaking hates a lot of people. Hates a lot of people. Vitriolic hatred of a lot of people. And if you associate yourself with anybody that Dan Slott hates, you are also blocked and disregarded by Dan Slott. Zachary Quinto, that's the guy. Freaking the guy with he's got a weird face. I guess that's what they like in Hollywood. But yeah, that's Dan Slott. I started reading it and I'm like, wait, this is Dan Slott. And then I started seeing Dan Slott in there, in the writing. And I'm like, okay, I can't read this because this is kind of, I see him in there. I see his writing. And it's kind of like, when you see it one place, you see it all over. And you see the unhappiness in the writing. Just abject, like, despair, abject horror, abject, like, the legacy characters. You're talking about William Shatner. And you're talking about Chris Pine. Other hit pieces, like Against Captain America. Things that they're doing to Luke Skywalker. Ways that they treat these legacy characters. People, or heroes. Fucking heroes. Who deserve more than the scorn they were given in the pages of the comic books. And you see that starting to creep in, the scorn for Peter Parker. Like, a part of me thinks about, like, what does that say about the writer? Like, where they are mentally, physically, socially. But yeah, I've rambled on that enough. I think I wanted to talk about this New Mutants, but with everything that's been going on, it kind of messed it up. But next week, I don't know. What am I going to do with this? What am I going to do? Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I've got another video coming out. And then I've got another video coming out. And then I've got another video coming out. So, take a look out for those. And I will continue to engage on Twitter. I will continue to do as much as I can to extend the olive branch. But at some point, we're going to have to vote with our wallets about what we want more of. And I might change the name of this show because the mutants, there's nothing to talk about with the mutants. So we might change this whole thing up on Monday morning. Stay tuned. And that means I gotta change my end card for my videos. Fuck. Yeah. Alright. Well, thanks for joining me. Deviant Porg, Lopter, and Parrot Head. New moderators for my channel. Alright, guys. I will see you Tuesday for the Trek Tuesdays. We're going to be going over episode 5 of Deep Space Nine. And I forgot the name of it already. But, we'll catch you then. All right. Thanks, guys. And we'll see you in a bit.